Hello everyone, welcome to the session on the art of public speaking. People across the world have a phobia, a fear of speaking to the crowd, to a team, generally in the public. It in fact has a term associated with that. It's called glossophobia. Glossophobia is a extreme fear of speaking in the public, and people across the world suffer from it, of course in various degrees. So through this session, let us understand what are the causes of this fear and how to overcome it, how to prepare well, and how to give a very nice and effective public speech or a presentation or an address or presenting a project. It is going to help you understand how to become a good public speaker. Okay, so first let's start off with understanding what is communication. Communication is the act of conveying information or intended meanings from one entity or group to another entity or group using what? Mutually understood sounds, signs, and symbols. This is communication. Now let's understand what are the goals of communication. So what are the goals of communication? Let's see. First one, to inform. You just inform the audience, give them a piece of information. To influence. Sometimes you have to make the audience do an act that you intend them to do. So you need to influence the audience. To make them understand something. You want the audience to understand a specific point or a concept, then that's also another goal of communication. Sometimes to entertain the audience and sometimes to just express. You just want to express yourself. These are the goals of communication. Now let's see what are the challenges that people face and what are the causes of this fear of public speaking. So what are the challenges or causes? Fear of failure and ridicule. People are afraid that they will fail on stage, that they will be ridiculed by the people, they will be laughed at. Gaily ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನಂತ ಭಯ. This is one of the major reasons. Shy and introvert nature. Sometimes people are shy by nature. They are introverted by nature. But when you are in an office setup, this may become very difficult for you professionally, because the office, they don't care if you are an introvert or an extrovert or an omnivert. They just want to get the work done. They want you to give a presentation, you are going to give that presentation. So better overcome that now. Past bad experiences. Sometime in the past you might have tried to come on stage and speak or give a presentation, but some bad experience might have happened there. People might have ridiculed them or insulted you, or they may have left the stage. Something bad might have happened, so you don't want to repeat that again. So better avoid. I will not speak in public at all is what you have decided, but we need to overcome this. Lack of knowledge and skills. People do not have the knowledge of what to do, how to do, and they lack the communication skills that are required. This may be another, this will be another reason for not speaking in the public. Lack of opportunities, or you might not have got opportunities earlier, either in your personal life or in your career or in your academic life, to address the public. This might also lead to a fear of public speaking. Lack of preparation. Sometimes people are either underprepared or not prepared at all, so they don't want to go on stage. They want to avoid speaking to the public. These are only a few that I have listed, that there will be many more reasons why people have this phobia of speaking in the public. So coming to our public speaking, the great Dale Carnegie says a talk is a voyage, it's a journey. It must be charted, meaning proper preparation has to be done. The direction should be defined. The speaker who starts at nowhere usually gets there. If you start at nowhere, you will get at nowhere. So it's a very beautiful quote by Dale Carnegie. Now let's see. So preparation is the key to everything. Remember those P's given up. Planning, preparation, and practice prevents poor performance. The better you prepare, the better you are going to present. So always remember, the key to success is preparation. Earlier, we understood the causes for the reducing of our self-confidence. Now let us understand how we can build our self-confidence to speak. The first thing that we can do is be self-aware. Understand ourselves. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. What are our strengths? What are the areas of improvement? And what steps can I take to find solutions to overcome this phobia? For this, you can use the following. The MBTI tests that are conducted by professionals are of great help. Then you need to get feedback from your close friends, associates, people who know you well. You can talk to them and try to understand what are your strengths and what are your areas of improvement. And most importantly, self-reflection. You sit and you meditate and you understand yourself much better than anybody. In fact, you can even go back to your past achievements and get some more confidence that, okay, when I was this age, I was able to speak on the stage in a school or college function. Now, why am I not able to do that? So you can think about past achievements and gain some self-confidence. Now coming to writing the speech, you begin with the end in mind. That means you look at the result that you want to achieve. So the first thing that we do is find out what is the occasion and the objective of giving this speech. It can be a cultural address, it can be a motivational speech. Is it a business meeting presentation? Is it marketing or selling a product? Project presentation, maybe? And is it just only for entertainment? Once you are clear about the occasion and the objective, the writing of the speech becomes that much more clear and well defined. Now let's move to the next part of this. The success of any good presentation or public speech depends on your complete understanding of who your audience is. What is the average age group? What is their qualification, profession or designation? What is the language they are comfortable with? The culture and religion sometimes plays a very important role, and the region they come from. If we are not clear about this, our speech may not be that effective because the audience will not be able to relate to what you are saying. Once you are clear about this, then you can write your speech that is well connected with your audience. Now, if you are not given a subject or a topic to speak by the organizers and you have to choose your own topic, then it is very important that you are sure that you choose a topic that is relevant to the occasion. How important it is to my audience, to their needs, to their expectations. You need to be very clear about this when you are choosing the topic, or if a topic is already given, then you need to work on that in a different way. Suitable for my audience is the topic that I have chosen with respect to who is my audience. Once you know who is your audience, then according to that you can choose the subject of your speech. Am I convinced about my topic? First, I need to be convinced before I convince the audience, right? So you need to be convinced that you have chosen the right topic to speak. Is it a controversial or a burning issue? What am I going to, whatever I am going to speak, is it very controversial? Or is it a current burning issue? You need to be very clear, and your speech needs to be that well structured that you don't offend the audience. Now, before writing the speech, I need to know where are the available resources for me to gather information to build my speech. Is it available in books, magazines and journals? Or is it available on YouTube, websites, resource persons? Should I speak to some resource persons? Sometimes you need to attend other training programs also. Of course, it's a continual process. You need to attend training programs so that your knowledge improves, enhances, and you become a better public speaker. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind before you start writing the speech. This is where you gather your info. Now we sit down to write the draft of the speech. Let's see. First, collect as much information and ideas as possible. Don't be very picky about that. Collect some extra information. There is no harm in that. Now create a framework. Once you have this data collected, information collected, now you create a framework of the speech. You need to know how much time you have, right? It may be 1 hour or it may be half an hour. Depending on that, create a framework, choosing the most relevant points. Now arrange these points in an orderly manner. Now think deeply about your speech, how it's going to resonate with the audience. What are the points that I'm going to stress and what are the points I'm going to just slide through. When you think deeply, you get an overall picture of how the speech is going to happen, right? This will also lead to editing of the content. Maybe some points you feel are not well connected and may not resonate well with the audience, so you delete that. Finally, you write down the speech after all the editing and all that. No, always the speech has to be written down. We are in the very bad habit that I know it is there in my mind and all that. But good speakers have a written down speech. It's not like they hold it and read it in front of the audience, but the speech is well written and it's available there. Okay, so write down the speech so that you can memorize it later. So how to write the speech? It needs to have an introduction, okay, where the introduction is quite short, of course, and then there is the body of the speech containing the most relevant points divided into paragraphs or sections. Then there is a very nice conclusion. So as I told you, the speech needs to have a very strong introduction to capture the audience attention, and then the body of the speech needs to be well defined, well structured, with connecting points as well as divided into paragraphs so that the audience can understand easily, and there should be a very nice conclusion. Be fresh and original. Don't simply copy and paste. Don't fill your speech with quotations from great people or some repetitions. Don't do that. Try to be as original as possible. Follow the 7 C's of communication. I have already conducted a session on the 7 C's of communication, which are very, very crucial, very critical to you becoming a good public speaker. Draw appropriate but close examples. People usually take examples that are disconnected from the audience. I mean, people sitting in India and we are giving examples of something that is happening in Africa when may not resonate well with the audience that you have. So have examples that they can relate to easily. Underline the key points so that you don't miss out on the most important points that need to be delivered to the audience. So underline those key points. Be very, very careful about the tone. Most misunderstandings arise from the tone with which you deliver. You may not intend to be offensive, but the tone in which you deliver might be offensive to the audience. So be very clear about the tone of your writing. Choice of words. Be very careful about the choice of words that you are using. And complexity of the language. Your audience should be able to understand the level of language that you are using when you are communicating with them. As I told you, if the people are not, either if they are semi-literates or they are not very proficient in English, you cannot be speaking in very high level English that just goes above their head. So you need to know about the complexity of the language that you are going to use. In fact, even the terminology. If you are speaking to a non-technical group and using a lot of technical parlance, the audience may not be able to connect with what you are going to say, right? So be careful about these things. Now that you have written down your speech, know your speech inside out. You should be absolutely thorough with the contents of your presentation. Practice and rehearse as many times as possible, either in front of the mirror or in front of your friends or close associates, so that they will be able to point out the areas of improvement. You need to practice and rehearse a lot. To make the speech more effective, you need to know where you are going to give the speech. Is it open or closed doors? What is the size of the hall? What are the seating arrangements done? Is there sufficient light or should I make extra arrangements for that? Is there a lot of echo or is it soundproof? When we know these things, then we can make those extra arrangements or take precautions to avoid disturbances during the speech. We need to know what are the tools that can be used. Mic, speakers, depending on the size of the audience and the size of the hall. Laptops or iPad to help you out. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation? And for that, do you have a projector, screen and slide changer, boards, markers, erasers? It helps to keep these things handy. Dress before you address. When you go in front of people, in front of a group, the first thing that happens is the visual connection, right? So your attire plays a very major role in establishing a connect between you and the audience. And then there is personal grooming. Of course, you need to look very neat and clean. Avoid heavy perfumes or jewelry, especially if it's a small group and you're standing in the middle and you have own heavy perfumes, then it may be very uncomfortable to the people sitting near you. And also avoid heavy jewelry, right? Now, when we talk about dress, the attire, what might be suitable attire to go on stage? Formal or semi-formal dresses are preferred, and avoid flashy, gaudy and very colorful dresses. Light colored dresses are preferred with proper, suitable, good quality footwear. Before you start delivering your speech, a few things that are good to know. Be rested so that you are fresh. Don't plan anything at the last moment. Most of the things that go wrong while delivering the speech is because you made those last minute changes. Do not hurry on the stage. Huffing and puffing and sweating in front of the audience doesn't give them a very good idea about you. Have a light lunch or breakfast so that you are active. Have a plan B. Sometimes the aids, the tools that you are using may not work. So you need to have a plan B in case you are changing the venue or if there is a change in the tools that you are using. And finally, check all the equipments once. That is right before you go, check if the PowerPoint presentation, everything is in place. Now coming to the introduction of the speech. It needs to be short, only a few lines, but it needs to be impactful so that the audience connects with you immediately. You can use SHE, S is statistic. You throw a statistic that is very interesting or some surprising news. H, humor. You tell a joke. Or E, make a emotional pitch. Start off with something that is very emotional. You can open with a story, anecdote, quotation, question. Very nice. Exhibit. You can show a model of something or an illustration on the screen and start your intro. There are a few things that you should not do. What are they? Do not begin with an apology. When you start giving the intro, don't start off by saying I am sorry, I apologize. It doesn't look very good. Avoid bringing humor. Humor is not for everybody. Otherwise, what will happen is that instead of laughing at your joke, the audience will laugh at you. So if you are not comfortable with humor, avoid it. Avoid being too formal because it becomes monotonous and very heavy. Try to be semi-formal. There are a few practices that we need to follow that are very helpful to us. Be confident and look confident. Otherwise, the audience is not going to believe a word of what you are going to say. Be visible to all fully. Don't hide behind the furniture, right? Make eye contact with everybody. Otherwise, people will feel left out. Making eye contact is very, very important with the audience so that everybody sitting there would feel that they are valued by the speaker. Use the length of the stage. You need to walk across the stage unless and until your mic is fixed at one point. Make the best use of the length of the stage. Avoid negative body language like slouching, crossed hands like this, or hands in pockets. These are all very poor body language. And then make use of non-verbal gestures. Appropriate non-verbal gestures go a long way in making your communication effective. So what are non-verbal gestures? Non-verbal gestures are also a form of communication. Okay, but we don't use the spoken language here. Instead, we use facial expressions like nodding the head, shaking the head, smile, eye contact with the audience, right? And we use our hands in expressing our a message or meanings. The way we stand, called the posture, the way we sit, all these send message to the audience, and we need to be very good at our non-verbal gestures. Now, when you are giving the talk, be sincere. The audience are very perceptive and they will catch a fake. If you are faking it on the stage, they are going to call out your bluff. The mind and heart of the speaker should connect with the mind and heart of the audience for a very successful and effective interaction to happen. Be original. Do not copy famous speakers or don't try to imitate others. Be original. You have your own style. Speak in your own style. Assimilate. Simply do not repeat whatever you read in the content. Don't be mechanical. Do not force yourself to speak. Let it come out naturally. Whatever is spontaneous actually attracts the audience. Stress on the most important words for effect so that the audience understands that these words need much more attention than the others. Modulate your voice. If you keep speaking in a very monotonous tone, then the audience will get bored. Use linkers, moreover, meanwhile, consequently, subsequently, so that the audience can connect the sentences easily. Be interact with the audience, yes, so that their attention is always on your speech. You get them involved, right? Pause. When you are speaking, it's very important to understand that you need not, that every word or every sentence need not follow the other. Pause. You give a short gap. Then, especially when you're talking about something very important, you let that sentence sink into the minds of the audience. This gives a greater effect to your speech. Now, coming to the conclusion of the speech, complete the circle, go 360 degrees. Where you started, go and end there. Complete the arc so that the audience now has a very clear picture of your speech. It's well rounded off. Do not let any loose ends, which keeps the audience thinking, now what is the answer to that? You may have told the audience that you will tell something to them at the end. So you need to tie up all the loose ends. Know when to stop. Some people, many people rather, don't know when to stop. They keep on going on until the audience walk out of the hall. It is always better to stop when people are asking, why did he stop? Instead of saying, why is he not stopping? So please keep your speech short and to the scheduled time so that the audience knows, okay, now this was the speech, it was well delivered and it ended at the right time. But do not stop abruptly. Just because sometimes the timer goes off, you want to end it abruptly, then the audience are left unawares. So always have a very polished conclusion. Stop without telling the audience that you're stopping. Some people do this, that, okay, I'm going to stop my speech now. I know I am boring you from a very long time and all that. No need to tell the audience that you're stopping the speech. They should be able to make out that the speech has come to a very nice polished conclusion. So finally, summarize the speech or presentation so that the audience are reconnected with what all we have discussed in the presentation. Request for action if there are any. Compliment the audience because they have given you the time and they have put in the effort to attend your presentation. Use a humorous comment so that the atmosphere is lighter and you end it on a very positive note. Close it with a couplet or a quote to be more impactful. Thank the audience. It's always the way we make others feel that leaves a very lasting impression in their minds. So you can conclude your speech in this way. Thank you all for watching this session. I'm sure that this session will be helpful to you, at least in a little way, to make you more confident and become a better public speaker. In case you want to reach out to me, you can kindly send a mail and we can discuss things and take it further. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.